right, we are back. It is March 1st, 2023. Mr. John, how are we doing?
Doing hot, doing hot. We're doing great. It's March. We're living. We're ready for the new month.
I mean, we got a lot to look forward to with March Madness and things like that. But also, before we get into that, I do want to say it is Women's History Month. So thank you to all the women out there. John, your lovely wife, Connor, your lovely fiance, soon to be wife, I believe. I haven't gotten you have a ring. I haven't gotten the wedding intro or
Invite.
invitation, so
We
still
have a
close
whole
to that.
year.
Mike, you and I will figure it out eventually, but we love our moms, we love everybody else, so that's all right. But again, it's John, I think kind of a slow week in sports, even though it was a fast week. Damo scored 71. We have the combine going on, but not a lot. So I figured why not bring back our favorite group of has-beens and we do another draft. And
Yeah.
in honor of the combine, I think we throw out a college football draft. And I think the best way to go about that is we have a couple categories. So we're going to go with your favorite player of all time that you watch personally with the favorite player that you didn't get to watch that maybe our parents, most likely our dad, told us about when he was ham sauced or something like that. Favorite coach, and then favorite coach you'd want to play for, actually. We got team you hate the most, tradition you like the most, and then we have a golden ball at the end, but we'll save that for the rest. John, what do you think about that?
Sounds like it's going to be a nice slate of drafts here. Like to see what Mike's going to pick. I don't know if he's going with sequels before the prequel, but we'll see this week.
Says the guy that picked Watchmen.
No comment.
Connor, what do you have to say about this?
Nothing. Just the fact that, like, honestly, it can't go any worse than it did the first go. You know what I mean? It's like we're growing, we're learning. You know what I mean? The only other thing that I wanted to mention, because you brought it up, and I got in a spirited debate yesterday with some of my other friends. You brought up the Dame dropping 70. I was just talking about, dude, imagine you drop 70 points in a game and you lose. I know they didn't, but Devin Booker did that. Devin Booker dropped 70 in a game and lost.
Was that the same game that what the guy from the Bills like died too?
The
DeMar
same.
Hamlin, was that the same game that he dropped 70? Because someone like wrote an article and it was like, this must be the worst night to drop like a XYZ like point game.
Are you talking about Dame?
No, I'm talking about
Devin Booker?
Devin Booker or I guess I was thinking of what the dude on the Cavs now, freaking who came from the Jazz. What is his name?
Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell. Yeah, he dropped like 70 on the night that DeMar Hamlin died, and everyone was like, "How do you feel?" And he was like, "I don't know."
We're not
People
gonna
remember me dropping 70 now, but yeah, that's a good point. Mike, I think we should just go ahead and lead it off, unless there's. I mean, we got Jalen Carter. I feel bad for him. Worn out for his arrest with the combine. That kind of sucks. Don't really know. Connor, your Bears. Obviously, they were going to trade the first pick anyway. They already have my guy, Justin Fields. Shout out Epilepsy Awareness Month. Let's go.
First of all, Bears not
Other
my.
than that, I mean, no combine stuff. So, Mike, hit it off. Let's go.
Get it off, get it started. Quick question. So, like, the two favorite players, is that like a combo? I just pick back to back?
Yep. So you'll pick one. We'll roast you on the first one. You can pick older or younger. We'll roast you. And then you pick the other one. And then the pick will be passed to the next person.
You also don't have to go with favorite player on your first pick. You could pick coach.
Yeah, you can pick you could pick coach, tradition, anything like that. Just
But if I did the player, I had to do
nothing in the
two
golden
players.
ball era.
But if I do players, I do two players. Okay.
Yep.
Well, let's start off with the players. I don't know how much of a slam dunk this is going to be to the Dark Knight, but I'm going to go player that I watched. That was the most electric player. Jeremy would like this, but I'm going to go Reggie Bush, forfeited Heisman, but that's going to spark some debate with the new NIL deals do they bring it back or not? But he had 2 seasons over 2,000 all-purpose yards. Just a fun guy to watch. So I'm gonna go with the Trojan.
Ooh, I mean that's a safe pick, 100%. I think guy who set the tone for probably the 21st century running backs. I'm not gonna say he's number 1 on my list, but like if he wasn't in the first round, I'd be disappointed there.
Yeah, electric pick. You know what I mean? It's a good pick. I think it's also, I mean, maybe some stuff later on in his career, but in college, right? Like not really any like demerits that you can put against him from like a personal standpoint. No, I feel like no matter who you were a fan of, you loved watching Reggie Bush play. So that's a good pick.
I personally love the pick. I mean, I think he was probably the epitome that started the Pac-12 after dark, that where you wanted to stay up and watch, the USC's, the Washingtons, games like that. I mean, I remember like the Fresno State game where I think he had like 500 all-purpose yards, and like he was wearing the Connor will know this one. He was wearing the double white sleeves, but one got ripped. So that's where the first like dude to wear the only like one half sleeve came from. It wasn't on my list, to be honest, but I will say obviously electric. But was he even the best running back in his own backfield at the time? Lindell White?
Up for debate.
I mean, local guy here, Lendell White, still great. Led in touchdowns. I'm pretty sure.
He destroyed them in touchdowns. But that's what I'm saying.
Terms of
Heisman Trophy, he won the Heisman. So yes, he was the best back in his backfield.
We still don't know. There's still.
I don't think Reggie has a Heisman at his house.
Check the record books. Check the record books.
Check the.
Got an asterisk.
There's no Heisman for Reggie at this point, but that's okay.
Comment, it's USC's house. It was never his. So.
Okay, that's fair. Anyway, Mike, next pick. That was a good pick, though. I think Reggie was a good one.
I mean, yeah, this is going to be more your specialty, college football. This is not my biggest, so we'll lack there. This next one's going to be a little bit more personal. Tanner, you probably would know where I'm going with this. You two might learn, but some player that I didn't get to watch, obviously, that's going to be my dad. He was a kicker, so I'm going to pick kicker for Nebraska, Dale Klein, NCAA record, 7 field goals, 7 for 7 against Mizzou, and an extra point, so 22 total points on Nebraska when they were actually worth a lick back in the day.
Worth a lick. I like you throwing a little shade at the alma mater. Look at you go.
So, yeah, throwing out a crazy wild pick in the beginning, kicker.
Before we get into it, who are you taking in the game this year?
I heard you guys' picks. You said it was an easy win. Are you talking about CU versus Nebraska?
Of course I am.
That's a way bigger game than you think. Come on.
No, nobody in a red uniform is going to be able to find their way to that stadium if our freaking.
Oh, we're going.
Dude, our spring game is already sold out and already is like there's a waiting list. So good luck for any Nebraska fans getting into Folsom. John and I used to have to go to even classes in there, and you could barely get in the stadium. So
let's get a ticket. Let's see what happens.
Shout out Yellow Boyle.
I don't think we probably could get one, to be honest, even if we wanted to.
Oh no, isn't that? Yeah, that's early on in the season. It's going to be. I think it's game 1 actually.
It's game 3, I think. Actually,
3.
No, I make zero promises on this, but I can reach out. My old O-line coach is the Buffs O-line coach now, Bill O'Boyle. He's on the coaching staff.
He gets 4 tickets. I might reach out to the strength coach, see if he's still hanging around. He's pretty old.
We'll get you out here for a weekend, Connor. I'll come out to AZ, and then you can come out here.
Let's send that. We get Rowdy and Boulder again, huh?
I think it'd be a good time. All right, Mike, who is your second player? We got to get back on track.
That was my second player.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Good call. I mean, I can't say anything bad about it, though. That's the thing is like you give your father, and I mean, regardless or not, I love the man. 1 as a player, 2 as just a parent. So you handcuff me to do what I do best and argue. So I
gotta see it here. Like it's a sweetheart pick. I can't. Yeah, there's nothing I can do there.
Can't do anything.
I will say, if you're gonna go with that sweetheart pick, it works out well for you that he's a record holder. Like if he was just like, you know what I mean? If he was just you know what I mean? It'd be like, Oh yeah, he played fullback. No record or anything.
He was a
he's a
great
record.
lead blocker that just like would make those holes. It's like, well,
Power eye,
okay,
baby.
cool.
And he was an All-American, so put that on the list too.
All right, fair enough. Mike, anything else you want to do to wrap up your picks? I think those are actually two pretty solid ones. I will not go against them.
Who's next? I'm curious to see what
I
your
am
guys' first
actually
round
up
picks.
next.
Okay.
So I think I could go player, but I know no one is gonna take my player. So I am gonna go ahead and go with my coach that I want to play for. The guy that I would absolutely hate to wake up. I know he would scream at me more than anybody, but I know I'm going to win. I know I'm going to have a ring on my finger at the end of the day. And I know he coaches my position group, Mr. Nick Saban. 7 championships at Bama, 1 at LSU. The dude, he's a winner, and everything you see, he is screaming and upset. And then the next one, it's like he's the most down-to-earth, understanding person of all time. And it kind of reminds me of my father in an extent. And I'm like, all right, this is a guy I'd want to play for.
That's a great pick.
Yeah, that's
who doesn't love Nick? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's your 1-1 Dark Knight pick. That's like, you know what I mean? You're talking college football. You're talking about coach. You want to play like it's a big hitter.
It's your flagship coach.
What you could say, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I might have taken him a little early, but to have Saban in your locker room, to an extent, in this idea, I mean, everything he touches turns to gold. You look at all the assistants he's had, where they went, like, I mean, Kirby Smart, back-to-back national championships, was a Saban guy. Dude is he's just money. And
I want to say Miami Dolphins maybe don't agree with everything turns to gold, but
this is a college football draft, not an NFL draft.
Fair, true. He did win a natty.
Connor knows.
People forget.
Mikey, anything about that one?
I think it was a great pick. Not the coach I have, but still obviously the best coach out there. You'll hear him when I get to my coach. Yeah, it's again another different story, but yeah, like Connor said, Dark Knight, easy pick. College football, you think Roll Tide.
Yeah, we all had him on the list as a backup.
Yeah.
We didn't get our guy,
Hey, you're still talking, so keep going. What's your pick? You're up, Connor.
I'm kind of torn with the same choice that you had. I think that I'm safe with my college picks. Well, maybe. Here's where it gets tricky, right? I think with the modern era, like players that we've seen, I think that there's so many choices. But then when it comes to like when you're looking back and thinking of like players that you've like heard of or like famous players, I think that pool is a little bit smaller. So I don't want to lose the pick that I have there. But also the coach that I have, I just don't want to risk it,
Part of the strategy.
So confused on where you're going right now that I
don't know what to do. Well, actually, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to go coach as well. Same train of thought as you. Pick it based on my position as receiver. I'm going to go with RIP Mike Leach.
I absolutely love that pick. And I have a bunch of friends that said the same thing, that like he was on my list and they were like, that'd be my first pick. But dude, throw it around the yard, open it. He created the fun and run. Like he is
just throw the ball every play. He's hilarious. Like same type of sense of humor as me. Like I would be cracking up all the time. Like
and you learn like the little play card that like wasn't actually like the big like play coach that everyone else had. The reason like Texas Tech and those guys all had the little ones was because it was just like three or four plays that he would write down that were just like one play, and then you would like run like 7 options off of it.
Correct. That's exactly the type of offense that I love to play. In slot receiver, I got 3 options on any play that's called. Like I love that. Just get open.
Everyone's like, "What? Those are so cool!" And they're just like looking at like 2 plays with like a bunch of options. Like, all right, we're running 27. It's like, well, you have 27 or 13 on your wrist card. Like, what?
Players coach. I mean, like, who wouldn't want to be in that locker room after a win You know what I mean? Like, and then also it's kind of a pander pick too, because like RIP, you know what I mean? So it's like
Oh, true.
a little pander, but I'm not gonna. I feel like he was too good of a dude for it to be a pander pick.
I agree.
John,
I mean, I do gotta say though, like I wonder what that recruiting, what him recruiting you would be like. I'm sure, honestly, like, how do you keep a straight face with how he talks? Like, is he serious like that in recruiting? Like, it's one thing I was always curious about.
I would have to imagine it would probably honestly was like just one of the most sarcastic, like lazy phone calls. I don't even know if Mike Leach is coming to your living room. I think he's just calling you and being like, "Yeah, we got a spot for you if you want it."
Want to go grab a
I don't know
burger?
if you actually care. You know what I mean? Like, he's like,
as he's like walking on the side of the road back home from the facility, as he always used to say, like, and he's like, I'm just walking, but would you want to come play for us? And you're like, you're not
yeah,
gonna come
right.
see
Yep.
me, Mikey. What do you got?
I'm reading here he was a 2-time National Coach of the Year. Does that sound right?
Oh yeah, he was a great coach. I mean, he
Okay.
also locked Craig James's son in a shed and said, "Stop
And-
being a lame-o," which, I mean, good for him, to be honest.
So yeah, I think if you're picking someone of that caliber, can't go wrong with that. So I think also great pick.
I mean, he created we called it run and fun, but run and gun, whatever you want to use. Like with him, Graham Harrell, like all like Kingsbury down at Texas Tech, like they created the modern day offense that we see. So I mean, I think that's a great pick for Connor. I mean, I guess now we got Big J. What are you gonna take?
Back-to-back picks, baby.
Oh yeah, back to back.
I'm gonna do the first one right off the bat. I think everyone knows, probably me, know where I'm going here. I don't think it's gonna be player. There's one
So
player.
technically, you have 3 picks then.
Yeah, they got 3 here, so we're going back to back, I guess.
Whew.
Son of a bitch.
Call that a train right there. But my number one pick is definitely going to be you got to know, it's quarterback Vince Young. There's no one more electric in terms of when I was growing up as a kid. Like Reggie Bush, he was a good player, but not gonna lie, I think Vince Young really showed him who earned the Heisman that year, holding up that trophy. Also, the best national championship trophy for college sports, if you ask me. Old BCS, but just the best player in terms of growing up. Just fun to watch. I actually was pretty successful in the pros, even though statistically not. But he won games. He was a winner, and wish he had a longer career, but couldn't avoid the strip clubs. So I'd probably pair that one with, player that both my grandpa and my dad told me growing up that was always the best running back they ever saw. Probably early 80s version of Reggie Bush, and that's Barry Sanders.
I knew you were going with that one. I'll let you guys handle everything, and then I'll hop in afterwards because I got to get John for a second.
2 solid picks there. I don't know much of Barry Sanders from his college career, just because those aren't the highlights that they're usually showing. They're showing the Lions blue spinning, cutting back across the field, all that stuff. But I would only have to imagine if a guy's doing that in the league, what it looked like on a college football field was probably unreal. So solid pick, Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? It's Oklahoma State. Love those colors too. The black and orange. That looks great. So tie it all together. Good pick. Vince Young, another one. Can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, just looking up some stats here. 1988, Oklahoma State, almost 2,700 yards rushing, 2,700 all-purpose yards. So
we got to get Mike to just
That's
be
the
an
record.
all-time stat guy. Just
That's still the record?
looking things up. Like,
hey, I'm on
just
my.
circulating.
I got my 3 screens
Lord,
here. I'm taking calls.
Yeah.
Not only
Hello,
contributed,
this is
but
Mike.
John,
I can't complain about the Vince Young pick, my man. I think that is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I think really the 2003 or 2004 Rose Bowl, which it would have been the
2005.
No, because they won the national championship in 2005, 2006 season, so they would have played the national championship in the 2004, 2005 season then.
I'll let you go with your thing. We'll circle back.
Klein, stat
Fact
boy.
check. What are we looking
What are the card facts?
Yeah, look, go to the card facts. That like when he blew up on the scene that year against Michigan in that game, and then the next year coming out, I mean, they beat CU 77-3 in the Big 12 championship game or something like that. And then it was the epitome of taking down Mr. Reggie Bush in the national championship game. I mean, that play on what 4th and 6, and it was just him just trotting in ever so lightly into the right side of the end zone. Absolutely fantastic. And then I knew you were going to go Barry. Your dad played against Barry, so you had to go Barry.
Not that young. My dad played against Earl Campbell.
Oh, so sorry. I missed which great running back your dad played against. My bad.
I'd be like in high school still now if my dad played against Barry Sanders. I might be getting the.
I guess that's probably true. Yeah.
Didn't you just say 88, Mike?
What?
Didn't you just say 1988?
Yeah, that seemed like his last year. I think he played 3 years and got drafted first round, third
I
overall.
didn't go to college 87. I'm 27.
See?
I'm not a math genius by any means, but
I'd still
You're
be
not good at math at all.
I'd still be under 22.
All right, John, you're up next. What do you got? You're going back to back. I need something here.
I'm going with the tradition here since no one's taken one. I want to secure mine pick right away. To me, this one stands out as the best. Well, there's a close one. I bet you one of them will pick it, but I'm going Howard's Rock. Like, if you don't give 110%, don't touch my rock. But we're going no. You're gonna hate that.
No, I think it's a great pick, but just it's diffused and ruined by the fakeness of Mr. Dabo Sweeney.
I mean, you can hate it all you want, but if you were running down a field, if you were entering a football game, you're like, all that, I think Clemson has a cool.
Oh, it's not bad, but I don't want the head coach rocking Lulu khakis leading the way as I'm touching the rock and going to make some plays.
That guy's jogging in comfort.
What'd you say, Connor?
He's sprinting, dude. He's moving.
And he's also the fakest prayer man of all time. Just,
You're hating something that doesn't have to do with
it's a great tradition. I think Howard's Rock is awesome, but Dabo Sweeney ruins it. That's all I'll say. Who else wants to dispute this?
You picked Dabo. Is that who you picked?
No, Howard's Rock.
John took Howard's Rock
for the tradition.
Mike's on the fly being our. See, this is where we're gonna have him as our stats guy and our lookup guy.
Yeah, half of these I'm like, what is that?
Mike's just gonna be sitting there with the headset, like in the studio one day when we're gonna have a cool little like storage unit that we just like soundproof and make like our own little home. We'll all go live in Scottsdale with Connor, and we'll just like be right down the street from Bottled Blonde.
That works. Works for me.
They got a Bottled Blonde down there too.
Yeah, it doesn't have a great reputation. Allegedly. Don't
Mike doesn't even question anything else. He just goes, "They got a Bottled Blonde."
I know Bottled Blonde from Dallas.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Big J, the one thing I'll say is I think for me coming into this, the traditions part was like one of the hardest things for me to really pick. So I'm
intrigued to see what yours is. Being from the Midwest and being in a different area, I'm intrigued to see what yours is. So John, you just went, right?
Yep.
Mike, you're back up on the clock. What are you gonna take?
No.
I'm back up.
Connor's up. Stat guy.
Oh, I went reverse. My bad. I was the wrong one. Good call. See, that's what we need.
But right on cue, like you're saying, you're interested to know what my tradition is. I think now that I've heard some of these other picks, I think I'm going to be able to get my players on the next go around. So I'm going to go tradition here because, again, it was the hardest one for me to pick, and I think that it could get taken. But I'm going to go with Iowa Hawkeyes, the Wave.
Okay.
I mean, how can you not like that? That's the most wholesome thing that there is. You know what I mean?
That was mine. Dang it.
I think
Children's
quite the-
Hospital.
I think a pander pick, if you will, if we're gonna use that term,
I mean,
because
what did you want me to say? Saluki's entering to enter Sandman. Like that's like that's our tradition. You know what I mean? There's not many.
You
cool
could have used
traditions.
like Virginia Tech, like Enter Sandman. That would have been like actually like a thing. I do like, and you can, and that's the thing is you really pushed us in a tough spot here because you can't like shit on it because it's the kids, it's the hospital, it's everything. But yet they've almost made it to where you kind of want to just not like it because it's so overblown and so overdone. And it's like, all
It's
right,
sports.
I'm
we're
gonna disagree.
also it's like
I'm
Iowa.
gonna
The game is
disagree.
we're playing a 7-6 game entering the fourth quarter. Let's turn around and wave to the children in
Exactly.
the hospital. Like
That's
we're the
exactly what I was gonna say. They're not throwing any. They can't throw the football. They got to throw something up in the air, and that's a wave. Hey, wave.
I guess, yeah.
That boy Big
That's a
J.
good point, John.
Look,
Thank you for saving
now,
that.
now you're just coming at the Iowa Hawkeyes. Like, listen, I'm not an Iowa Hawkeyes guy. I'm just like, that's a cool tradition, bigger than
That was my
sport.
number.
It's
That was my number one
fair.
pick.
All
Yeah,
right.
I like it. I like
We'll
the
give
pick.
it to
I like
you.
the pick.
I was gonna take that too, so now I'm gonna have to pull
Do
something out of my
something.
ass.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I only had like 2 to choose from. And I had to go. So,
What?
hey,
You
let's
Not
got
see.
traditions, guys. Oh no, you gotta get into the traditions.
Well, I mean, like a lot of the traditions that like I grew up with are like they're not PC anymore. So, like, you can't even do them.
Mine not.
The Florida
Mine
State
is.
can't do that shit anymore.
Oh, okay. Well,
You
you
saw
guys
me do
still
that.
could have used it.
Yeah, that's where it popped in my head. You can't do that anymore.
I don't think mine is PC, but I'm still gonna use it. Who's up next, John Boy?
You are.
That's you, Tanner.
Oh, well, I guess I could go players, but actually, no. We're gonna go tradition. Just keep it on what Connor said about the whole PC thing, and I'm gonna go with because I know John will want one at the end of this, and I won't take it. But I'm gonna go with the Tiger Walk for LSU / the band play neck. If you guys know that tradition, which is the suck that tiger dick bitch. And John, I know you've heard that.
I'm actually news to me. Throwing expletives. I'm bambazzled here. I'm bamboozled. I don't even know, but I haven't heard that one. I'll have to check that one out. Not that my ears can hear that, but I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah, I thought we were PG-13, but I guess not.
I think all those
One
words would
curse word
technically
for
be
PG-13,
PG-13. Mike, I know you know the play it right now since you're on the computer.
I know what
What?
you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
The LSU walkout song?
Well, they do it like throughout the game too. They'll just like the band will do like a little riff, and then it'll be like suck that.
yeah, it's quite the it's quite the good time. I personally like that. I mean, walking through like I've been to Baton Rouge, and it was really cool to see like all the players like coming off the bus and like walking right near where I mean we're talking a exhibit that you would see at a zoo, and there's just a tiger right next to the stadium, and you got the band doing that same little riff, Connor, and they're singing that song, and you got all the guys just like dressed up, and apparently that's where Joe Burrow like apparently found his kind of his swagger and style, just being able to walk out in different things every week. And so I think that is definitely going to be my tradition. I got a couple others, but I think that's definitely where I'll sit.
You're riding the coattails of the LSU heat a little bit here. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely. I always do, always have. I mean,
yeah.
they're my guys.
The only thing that I'm going to add to it, and this is just me personally, I don't know where you guys stand, but I'm a big cat conservationist. I don't like to see that tiger in the cage. You know what I mean? Let him be free. You know what I mean? It's just
no big cats in cages. That's not me. That's not me.
Cool cats and kittens. Let them free.
We got yeah, no, it's not freaking Tiger King, it's Tiger Khan, and he wants to make sure there's no cats in conservation. They're always out in the wild.
Listen, it's where they belong.
You have like 2 dogs?
That's so different, dude. My dogs would die on their own.
dependent.
I mean, yeah, because they were just bred to be fed. What if they were
Yeah,
out on
but,
their
like,
own, just living their
that
life?
tiger wasn't.
Well, yeah, the
Dogs
tiger
were
was
domesticated.
brought into captivity. Like, I mean, the dogs could learn just what the tiger knew.
Yeah, all right, Mike Tyson, chill out.
Well,
Mike
why would we
Tyson
get Mike
is
Tyson
awesome.
involved here? Like, this,
He has a
on a
tiger.
left
Okay,
hook
we're
right there.
not getting into this. Mike, take your pick now.
Wait, what song was it called? Columbine Rouge? Is that what you picked?
Well, I just say band play neck. Say play neck. We'll do that.
Play neck. Okay, I'll have to look it up. Is it my turn? Back to back.
Yes,
Play
it
neck.
is your turn.
Oh,
He's
the
never.
band.
Is he the only one that has no idea about this? About like 110,000 people just screaming at you saying, "Suck that tiger."
I'm gonna listen to it here. My 2 picks. Let's
For
go.
you,
I mean,
yeah.
Connor's been hyping on the coattails of your LSU, so I'm gonna be the same with Nebraska. So you're gonna get sick of Nebraska here at the end of this. Let's go with coach, and we're gonna go Tom Osborne, the guy that coached Nebraska when they were good, and also coached my dad. He was 255 and 49-3 with 3 natties.
That's a
So
6.
just a great guy. Just your hardcore I formation,
Was he I
redneck
formation or
Nebraska
option?
football. I formation.
Now,
Just
when
a
you're
great guy to-
picturing playing for him, are you picturing him like playing for him like in the 80s like that? Like that's where you would want to play for him?
Yeah, I think you have to.
I think so too.
Well,
That's
that's the
kind of
thing.
that same
Like,
conversation.
Mike, you have to be Mike. You got to go through his practices and shit. Like,
Oh, I
you have
know.
to be on his field. This isn't just like, oh, Nebraska looks good. They won some natties, yada yada. No, dude, you're buckling up the shoulder pads and you're going to practice for Tom Osborne for 4 years.
Real
You're known for nutrition and conditioning and Oklahoma drills. I mean, I know it's a different drill,
What
but
was nutrition in the 80s? Like
steroids.
Steak, eggs, and yeah, a little bit.
I was gonna say peanut butter and jellies and
Peanut
then
butter
maybe
and
like
jelly and
steroids.
anabolic steroids.
I mean, you said it, Tanner, when we were talking when the pros get hurt, they inject Trumadol, and like what SEC teams and Nebraska and CU are like the only teams that still do that these days. Was I talking with you about that?
Yeah, Nebraska is one of the only teams that I know that still uses Torterol like to a high extent. CU uses it a lot, and then I know a lot of SEC teams still use it a lot. But it's definitely. Did you guys use it at SIU, Connor?
Dude, we didn't have money for that stuff. our like physical training, like you get hurt, it's like, hey, here's a slush bucket. Go ahead and put whatever is hurting into that.
It's just like put your ankle in like this like little ice tub, and then you'll be good. Like you'll be fine.
Dude, like when I blew my shoulder up, like tore my labor, my rotator cuff was torn, my bicep was torn off. Like when it was blown up, they just took me into the locker room and they're like, all right, man, we're gonna go ahead and take your jersey off. They're like raising my arm up to like.
They didn't even cut it off. They were just like,
what are you talking about, dude? It's like,
how much that jersey costs?
They were like, no, like we need these pads. Like we actually bought this like double-sided tape, so we can't like mess this up if someone else needs it.
The pads they could have just slipped over my head. It was the jersey they just refused to cut. They're like, yeah, take that off. I'm like, dude, I can't use my arm.
I need to see that.
Just has the Home Depot bucket for like icy hot. You just bathe in with your when you got a sprained ankle.
Yeah, dude. My pregame, like, or not pregame, but like pre-practice, especially in like my later years when it was just like my legs were just brutal. I would just go in at pre-practice, and I don't know if you guys know what Tiger Balm is, but it's essentially icy hot that's just like
on
steroids.
Put the gloves on, take a glob of it, and just lather up my legs. I'm like, I just don't want to feel my legs for the next 2 hours.
Well, you know that's like a huge, or that was a big thing in like the early 2000s for like track runners and like even like other athletes. Like so you know like so the Tiger Balm that you can like imagine Tiger Balm and then the stuff that they would use for that for horses. like people like were using on their legs, and so you would put it on, then you put your tights and everything, and it would just instantly almost make like kind of like that saran wrap feeling, and you could do track workouts, run like crazy, and you wouldn't have to have any recovery time because your legs would just be fine.
Oh yeah, I mean, dude, we're running the spread offense, like running 150 plays a day, like at practice.
Yeah,
I'm
we
like,
know
I
you got
don't know
Mike
what
Leach,
they're not.
so you're good on the roster.
I'd use
Johnny, are
that
you
stuff.
up right now or who's up?
I still got my other pick. I would use
Oh,
that
you got
stuff for
your
my
other one?
arm for baseball. I'd be all over. I just need that and couldn't feel my arm. Here we go. 100 more pitches.
Locked in.
100 more words from Mike. Here we go.
100 more words. Let's go. Stick it with tradition because you took my Iowa one, so I wanted to split it up, but now I got to go with what I know, the Nebraska bread and butter. And we're gonna go the balloons when they let go of the balloons when the first score happens. And this last year there was a helium shortage, and this is the first time we couldn't do the balloons since 1960. So, and I'm also going to probably just say, the consecutive sellouts at the stadium. I mean, I don't know if that goes hand in hand for tradition, but let's just put it all together. Nebraska's tradition, loyal fans tradition, and those balloons.
A tradition of littering. Interesting.
I never would have known. Could have
I
fooled
don't
me.
know if you noticed, there was a big scandal about flying balloons in the air recently. I don't know if you're proud of that.
So, it was Nebraska.
That was a good one, John. I like that. Relevant. I like that. All right, I've been talking too much. Who's up next? I think Tanner's up.
Tanner's back up.
I'm back up. All right, I'm gonna go. I'll go with my players, I guess. Now we can get into it and make it a little interesting. So, I'm gonna go with my. I don't want to do one that I think you guys probably could have on your list. I want to go with, though, I think who was possibly the most electric player we ever watched, Darren McFadden, Arkansas. He created the freaking Wildcat like offense. He finished second in the Heisman twice. He has the SEC record in touchdowns, yards, everything through 3 seasons. I mean, I would love to take a couple other people and I would tip some picks, but I think if we're gonna do something like this and we're gonna try and make it interesting, I'm gonna go with someone like Darren McFadden, who absolutely changed the game of college football.
Great pick. I like the pick. I think
he was on the cover of a NCAA football, I think, too, at one point.
And he had some great backup. I mean, he's the same question about with you're talking about Reggie Bush, Lendell White. I mean, who else did Darren McFadden have around?
Felix Jones and Peyton Hillis. Yes, but that was in his last year. Only for like 7 games did they actually show up. Other than that backfield belonged to Darren McFadden. Being a homegrown dude who was a 5-star recruit from Little Rock, Arkansas, that stayed home and went to that school and created them into what they are now, that guy deserves all the respect.
I agree, and I think he needs to be a little bit more relevant. People need to talk about him more. He was pretty electric.
He finished second in the Heisman twice. He lost to Troy Smith, and which I don't think anyone's going to take. And then he lost to another guy, which could be on someone's radar, so I'm not going to say it right now. But either way, like that's a crazy career. And he took Arkansas from not even being bowl eligible for the longest time to we're relevant in the SEC finally, which I think is pretty legit. But
tough feat. Just ask Mizzou,
Yeah, there you go.
Got some facts for you. Yeah, true freshman, over 1,100 yards rushing, and he had 41 touchdowns through 3 years. So rushing touchdowns, always over 1,000 yards rushing. It's a good pick.
He never missed it. I mean, if anyone has any other takes, feel free. I'm open, but
I'm not bashing the pick at all. I would never bash it. I definitely think it's a good pick.
Yeah, I agree with Big J though. That's a guy that it's a solid pick when you look.
You definitely weren't expecting it to come out.
Yeah, nobody talks about him. Nobody talks about him.
which I'm like, I wish people talked about him more. So I'm up again for my second. I'm gonna stay in that position group room, and my favorite guy that I never got to see, Big J. You're gonna know this, Herschel Walker. I watched that, and it wasn't a 30 for 30. It was an E60 or like an SEC story, and just hearing everything about him, what he did, even watching some of his old games. That man is a psycho, like in the best way possible. I don't know how to describe anything other than I don't know how you can sit there as a senior in high school and be like, I'm either going to go in the military and kill people, or I'm going to go to Georgia and play running back and run over people. And that was his one. Wasn't that his decision, John?
I mean, I don't know about that. All I know is like I love the pick, man. Like I absolutely love it. like top running back in the SEC, like all time. Like you're talking guys like Bo Jackson,
Bo Jackson.
Henry.
I think Herschel is a better running back than Bo personally. Hands up, I'll put it. This will be a draft later. I'll take Herschel above Bo. Herschel just got Herschel was not the smartest financially is his problem, was where he got messed up, I think, and he got put in a bad position. But that's all I'll say. But I got Herschel.
Solid pick. Well, another one that you just can't go against.
Yeah, looks like
where's everyone's discrepancy right now? Why is no one being feisty on me?
I think honestly, we might have cast too far of a net. Like there's so many good players. Like we're all putting together really solid drafts right now.
It's almost like we should have honed. I
just realized I haven't even been. Oh shit! It's loud.
It's cool. So I'm back up. I think as of right now, everybody's done traditions. Everybody's done coach that they want to play for.
Yep.
And then I'm the only one that hasn't done players.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and then nobody's picked the school they
team to hate. Yeah.
I still have coach. Yeah, I still have coach in Jersey. Yeah.
You might do team to hate just strategy wise.
So I'm gonna rip my picks of players, but boys, we have some must mention honorable mentions. Like the fact that we're at round 3. Pick 3 right now. And the name Tim Tebow has not even been spoken about, dude, is almost disrespectful. Now, I say that to say this, which is Tim Tebow is not my pick. But that blows my mind.
You're tipping picks, and that doesn't count. But either way, I didn't take. He was my first pick, but I took Darren because I thought someone else would take Tim.
I actually had Florida's parole officer over Tim Tebow.
Well, I'm not tipping picks because
because of the 52 people on crimes or something like that. You know,
like arrested felons.
Everybody's already taken their player. So jumping into my 2 picks, my favorite player to watch in college, arguably the greatest college highlight film of all time.
It's your pick, John, I guarantee you.
Mr. Tavon Austin.
I told you. I called it. Let's go. I told you, John.
All time. Like, I used to legit, before games in college, I would watch his highlight film to get absolutely fired up, dude, before I went out to play games. Like, the coldest college player probably of all time. Like,
so you just watched his tape of him playing Baylor when they won like 70 to like 60.
He had like 300 all-purpose yards in one game, dude. Like,
but you didn't return kicks, so
could I ever move my body in the same manner of Tavon Austin? Absolutely not, dude. Did I?
No, because you're not 5'7", 160 pounds.
I still tried.
You got a wagon.
Listen, man, electric player, electric highlight tape. I think it's higher caliber, higher stats type people out there, but I got to stick.
Is he the best player from West Virginia that you've ever seen, though?
No, Pat McAfee. Oh,
Okay, I like
Someone else on my
where you're
team?
going with that for the joke content. Yeah, is he really the best West Virginia player you've ever seen?
I mean, I think I might only know like
Also wears number 5.
I might only know like 5 West Virginia players. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say yes.
Can I don't know if I can name
What's your pick, Tanner?
of
For
the
best
West
West
Virginia
Virginia?
players.
Yeah.
Out white.
Yeah, is that? I mean, that's it. That would be the only other like contender. Well, who else am I gonna say? Geno Smith. Like,
He's coming up.
I mean, I will say I'll give him his
I have 2 that I would actually probably take ahead of both of them.
at West Virginia.
Yes,
I gotta hear him now.
Steve Slayton and Noel Devine.
See, I didn't even know that they went to.
Noel Devine has the best high school highlight tape of all time.
Yeah.
And Steve Slayton, he played for the Texans, but he played with Pat White, and he was like the OG that wore the big yellow like binky mouthpiece. He was awesome.
Yeah.
I think he wore number 10, maybe. I don't know. All
I
right,
just
Mikey,
like
who's
that
up
one.
now?
No, I gotta get my old player.
Your oldies. That's right. All right, here we go.
I think so it sounds like you guessed that I was gonna pick Tavon Austin.
I thought
So-
you were, yeah. So let's see what you got now.
So I think you can guess who I'm gonna go with for old player.
I'll send it in the chat as we do this.
Old player, somebody that I would have loved to watch live, an absolute icon, Brian Bosworth.
That
The
makes a lot.
Boz. I would have fucking loved to watch that dude play. Just absolutely hammering people. I'm not a defense guy. I haven't played defense since I was in like 6th grade. But that's a guy that if I did play defense, I want to be him. Neck roll, mullet, dude. Like that's who I would want to be.
I have to laugh at you because prior to this draft, I was messing around and I went to my pops. I was like, Dad, like who do you think like are your favorite like old school guys? Because like, you know, these, and I listed who I had, and he was like, blah blah blah, and then he was like, and then that dude from Oklahoma, like with the mullet, and I was like, Brian Bosworth. So perfect pick. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with the Boz. The dude was.
I feel like the
he
John
changed
Daly.
everything.
John
Dude,
Daly of college football. Like just
He's a legend, dude. Like just
The fact you got him this late is crazy. Actually, for all of us, we needed 10 more people in here, obviously, but like that is a great pick and a great value pick in this slot.
The only other thing that I wanted to bring up, honorable mention here with the tradition, since we've all picked traditions, I didn't think about this until I just looked over to my right shoulder. The one tradition. Well, everybody's picked one, right? Yeah.
No, I haven't. Did I?
Yeah, you did. LSU.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But the one tradition that now I'm kicking myself because I should have picked it.
That's what you picked, Tanner.
Tennessee, Alabama, the cigars.
That's a good one.
It's a sick tradition.
Being a Midwest guy, though, I think we also missed another one.
Cowbells.
Ole Miss, Cowbells, that's a good one. I was thinking jump around, though, Wisconsin.
Good one.
Yeah, if Wisconsin was good.
See you running behind Ralphie. I mean, we can't.
I'm amazed that no one took that. How did you not take that, John?
Yeah.
I don't know. Howard's Rock was always like my dream, even though I was a UT fan growing up. I always thought that was the coolest thing.
All right. Well,
Don't touch my rock unless you're going to give 110%, baby. Let's go.
Happy wife, happy life.
You're back
All
up.
right.
You got your last 2 picks.
Oh, it's me, yeah. That is.
Yeah.
Oh. So it looks like I just got my coach, and this one was kind of tough. You guys kind of all took my coach here, but I have a safe pick and I have one that's a little bit more controversial. So let's go with the one that's a little bit more controversial. I say.
I love that.
Yeah, we need some of that.
Let's say I think we all remember LSU going back there. Coach O. I know he's a little bit of a controversial figure, but
Okay.
that guy. I don't even know what he's saying half the time, but I'm like, yeah, let's go play some football. Like, let's go smack some heads. I don't know what's going on, but yes, I mean, just energetic guy's a player's coach. I mean, even the players didn't want him to leave LSU. There were some other things, but you know, they were going to fight for him. They wanted him there, and I think there's very few people I'd be like I'd run through a wall, and for some reason that guy is just it. Little shout out. I'm a little upset. Michael Orr in the blind side didn't go side with him. Or wait, he did. Ole Miss.
Talk about a guy that just changed the narrative too. He's
No.
stuck in a rut where people are saying he's the best interim head coach of all time, all that stuff. All of a sudden, gets his opportunity, teams up with Joey B, wins the Natty. You got to give him a round of applause for that. It's a great pick. I love the guy.
Just iconic voice. I love it.
I can't go against the pick. I mean, he was at USC when they were in their natty run with Bush and Lindo White. I think he was the offensive line coach then, if I remember right.
E-line, I think.
I mean, and then you look and he coached up or helped coach up one of my favorite guys in the league, Joey B. Happens to get caught on an iPhone in bed with a
co-ed.
A co-ed that's over 18, but still maybe not a good look. But you gotta love the guy. He's a player's coach, and he's someone that. How would you not? Again, to your point, John, how would you not want to run through a wall for a guy that just has that type of energy and that type of spirit? And I mean, you know that when you walk in the room at 7 a.m. and you're sitting down there in the chairs and you don't want to be there, he's coming through hustling and bustling, and he's making everything a little bit more exciting. And I think that's the type of dude that you'd want to play for. So solid pick in my eyes.
Just a little good morning gumbo personality. You're ready to start the day with a little crawdad. We're going for it.
What did you? A little good morning gumbo crawdad personality.
Listen, if you knew,
Shrimp and grits.
If you knew, you'd know. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm learning. Goodness gracious, John. Good Lord, that was
Southern breakfast, baby.
Big J, you're rounding us out here with your most hated team. That's your last pick.
And I just want to clarify: was this a year or just a team in general?
You pick. You create your own narrative, big man.
You pick, and then give us the explanation as to why you picked it.
It's gonna be weird. All the teams I hate are red. I'm gonna go with this. Is gonna sound my most hated, but it's not Texas A&M. It's not Oklahoma. It's not Nebraska as a UT or CU fan. It is those Buckeyes out of Ohio State.
Fuck you! You took my team.
Oh my gosh, there's no team that's more annoying, and it's not just football; it's basketball. I'm glad they don't have a baseball team because I can't hear about that. But I mean,
yeah, they do.
The most annoying. They're not
a joke.
They're not like that. Yeah, powerhouse.
We played them midweek.
And I just can't stand just anything about Ohio State. The only thing that's good about them is their band. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
maybe some of their girls. That's it.
Fun team to watch for sure, right? Like if Ohio State game's on a Saturday, like I'm probably gonna watch it. But like I get where you're coming from. It's more like the things surrounding it that really just kind of make you hate Ohio State, And then it's also like because they're good, there's that aspect of like you don't deserve this. Like, come on, So I get where you're coming from.
I don't really think they're good, but that's everyone else.
I mean, they've won a lot of Big Ten championships.
Yeah, that helps with a lot of money.
They go to the Final Four a lot, but what have you done for me lately?
Jokes.
I get it. All right. Well,
Mikey, anything on that one?
I agree with everybody. When you got a team that
John knows he stole my team. I'm literally like since I freaking watched, what was it, like the 2001 Natty when Ohio State got lucky to beat Miami. I've always hated Ohio State. And
there's another Big Ten team I think that you would hate just as much.
No, there's not another.
They wear red. Really?
Nebraska.
No.
You can't tip picks, Mike, but
more relevant.
Wisconsin.
Whatever. Moving on. All right. After John, that means that
honors up.
Yeah, we're slinging around.
So, for my most hated team, and this is a weird one, but I've got the explanation for it.
Need it.
I'm going to go with the Oregon Ducks. I know it's weird because when Oregon first came on the scene, cool uniforms, all that stuff, right? I was like, oh, I'm 11, 12 years old. I'm like, oh, it would be so sick. Like, gonna have all these uniforms, like all this stuff, everything, right? But at some point, when are you gonna be more than your uniforms? Like like I hate hearing about Oregon. I hate seeing that they got all this cool stuff from Nike. All they talk about is, oh, here's the match, here's the uniform for the game. This is one of like 10 million different combinations that we have. Like, how about you just play football? Like, you guys stink, dude. Like,
Yeah.
win some games. Like, I'm just tired of it. You know, I think honestly, if I was a head coach of that school, I'd be like, listen, you win games, you unlock more uniforms. But until then, you're wearing the same uniforms. Like, I'm sick of that shit. It's so annoying.
Well, how do you tell that to the guys
Like-
that were recruited in promise that they could wear like 67 different uniforms throughout their tenure there, and they
I'm
were
gonna be
going to
honest.
have 9 pairs of cleats every week that they could wear, new shoelaces every day, gloves that the tack will never go off.
This
Yada
is how I
yada.
deal with that. Call me old school, but guess what? If you care more about the uniform you're wearing on Saturday than trying to make it to the league, I don't want you on my team.
Oh, guess what? You're gonna have a real problem being a coach if you want to coach in today's society then, because that's what about
Nope.
95% of everybody
Nope.
cares about, probably.
Texas, Georgia,
Alabama.
Alabama, LSU, Notre Dame, traditional schools, they're the teams still winning the top because they don't care about jerseys. They care about winning football.
But
I-
the thing that you don't realize about their jerseys is their jerseys don't change, but the accessories, the small little things,
Oh, yeah.
those all go with it.
That I don't have a
Yeah.
problem with that. Like I was a guy that got a new pair of gloves every like 3 days after practicing. I get that part, but I'm saying like when you're more concerned about like, oh, we're gonna go green top, orange bottom, yellow socks, like, dude, just like play the game.
All right, we know you would have loved
You're
to
owned
been
by Phil Knight.
Connor, you would have loved to been the guy that's been like, wait, can I wear the orange socks this week?
That's not true, dude. I look at my uniform, like look at how I dressed. I wore the same color tights as my pants for the week. I wore no undershirt and I wore gloves. That's all that I wore. That's it. You just match the tights to the pants. You got your white cleats, obviously, because I got to look faster on
So
film.
what does that change about the jersey then? You're
No
just wearing the
sleeves.
jersey. What point are you making then about being mad about wearing a jersey?
What are you talking about?
I
I'm
think-
saying I wasn't preoccupied with that stuff. I'm saying I'm sick of hearing about all the different uniform combinations that Oregon has because that's all that they're bringing to the table.
But what if a lot of people at Oregon are saying the exact same thing as you, but we just
Phil
think
Knight
that they're
runs it and says, "Nope, we're going to do a different jersey every." I'm going to switch up the socks and invent new cleats for
That school sucks.
invent a new puke green color so you can wear. I mean, it's really not their say, but I do agree. I think it is. It's a little bit more flash and not about actual football, not about basketball or whatever sport you're talking about.
I mean, Chip
Baseball's
Kelly was the
flashy.
one who developed the kind of the offense where it was just, chop, 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 fast paced, not really offensive linemen. So what do you think's going to draw that attention?
I mean, again, I get like it's not that I'm
Skill
saying
players.
I hate like the play calling or I hate like the rivalry or anything like that. It's also a weird thing, and I'm sure you guys kind of feel this as well. Well, I guess maybe not you guys because you are still diehard Buff fans, but like it was when I grew up, I was a Miami U fan. Then when I went and played college football, it's really hard to be like, oh, this is also like this is my team. So I don't have like any rivalries unless you're looking at like who I played against is like who I like don't like. You know what I mean? Like I hate North Dakota State, but that's because they were the best people in our conference. But also, I'm not going to take North Dakota State in this draft because no one gives a shit about North Dakota State. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a personal vendetta against any school, but I don't like Oregon and what they're like. Like I just don't like how they're in the headlines. Like win a game.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. Oregon off the board.
the
Moving
board.
on. What do we got?
You're up.
My least favorite team now, since I'm left on that one. Mike, you know where we're gonna go with this one. Since John already stole my real least
You
favorite team.
already tipped it.
Yeah, you already tipped it. Frickin' Nebraska. Nobody likes red. It is a gross ass color, even though I got it behind me right now. But like, what are you pointing at?
Pointing at the red.
You got a little bit of red. Yeah, that's fair. No, I mean, I think growing up like as a CU fan and like living in Colorado, Nebraska, like unless I mean, Mike, you're obviously have a tie to it, but like when you grow up in Colorado, Nebraska is just that school you don't like and you just have a rivalry with. I hate that we got rid of the rivalry for a little while. I wish we still had it on the Thanksgiving weekend. There was nothing better than that like Friday game
Friday
we were playing
evening, yeah.
Nebraska, and it was always CU just putting up like 66 and Nebraska having like 30 or something like that. I'm not gonna say how many times that happened, but it was just such an awesome game. And the fact that like we're like the states are so close, and I mean there's not really a recruiting battle now because like we're not trying to recruit Nebraska players. We're trying to get like some Tennessee, some Florida, some Georgia, some California folks. But it's still fun to see Matt Rule like go on Twitter and pretend that he's doing some recruiting battles with CU and trying to beat Dion. But yeah, Nebraska can go just eat a big one.
I agree. I'm sorry. They're in my top 5 hate list, and all of the top 5 hate lists are all red, and they all wear the color red. And yeah, they're definitely up there. Sorry, Mike, but
Hey, CU's yeah. I'm born here, so I like both teams, so I don't discredit what your guys are saying. It's a good rivalry, like Tanner said. Yeah, that's those Friday nights or Friday evenings, Thanksgiving, just watching the CU Nebraska rivalry was always good. We always played each other good. Not a blowout, like you said.
I mean, it's better than CSU CU. I have to admit, I'd rather watch CU play Nebraska than CSU because CSU has been trash.
Right. Imagine like a 4-star recruit though, and like you're getting these visits to your house, and you have like Deion Sanders come and sit down, and then Matt Rule come and sit down. Like, what does that feel like to you? Like you're just like, I guess both were cool, but like obviously I'm not going to Nebraska.
Well, it depends what Matt Rule's throwing on the table there. Like
what bag he brought with him.
Well, Matt Rule has to walk in with literally like a freaking baggie of cash, like a Brinks bag, to even change the narrative. Because Dion walks in and you're like,
I mean, I don't know though, because the one thing that I will give credit to, and Mike's gonna like this, is that like even though that like, and I know I brought it up, but even though like that dynamic of it of like the coach recruiting you, there is something to be said about like playing in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
You get to play where it's cold.
I mean, yeah.
But I mean, like, you look at the power rankings of conferences, like Big Ten, it's SEC, Big Ten.
So it's all because Ohio State.
They're the second loser every year.
So everyone just follows the Big Ten because of that. I think Big Ten's the most overrated power conference.
I do too, actually.
By far.
I'm with Big J.
Even more than the Pac-12.
I'm taking this one down. This is a conversation for another day. I think the Big Ten is the most overrated conference in every sport.
All right, fine. New power rankings. SEC, Missouri Valley. Right there.
I'll give it the Missouri Valley.
Freaking
go SIU, baby. Let's go. And then we got NIU, Jimmy Garoppolo or something like that. Like
that's EIU. They're in the Ohio Valley, and Northern Illinois is in the back, like the freaking bums that they are.
Yeah. Hey, don't hate on the MAC.
I love a little some November Maction. Like nothing gets me more.
Remember Wednesday Maction?
John was the king of Maction when he would just be playing NCAA like on his 360 back in the day, which honestly that needs to come back, but that's all right.
Oh, yeah, I got a Maction ring. Let's not forget.
Speaking of the MAC though, honorable mention, Corey Davis, Western Michigan, all-time leading receiver in Division I college football, over 5,000 receiving yards in his college career. Absurd stats.
Pretty sure
they played in the Sugar Bowl, or which bowl game did they play? They played in one of the New Year's Six.
That was his like senior year. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was a senior year. It was like the Cotton Bowl or something like that. Stats guy, what are you doing?
That guy? I am looking up another. I mean, yeah, it's another player in the MAC that he's out there.
Who was? I know he had a touchdown. It was in Jerry World, is where they played the game at, but that's not that important.
No, he just brought up Corey Davis.
Other picks?
So that Antonio Brown came to mind, another MAC receiver, but
Central Michigan, huh?
yeah.
He was Central.
I don't know if we have any more picks. I think that's it, right?
I have my hated team, but
No, we have the gold ball.
How did we get out of order? Oh no, yeah, you have your last pick. Tanner just went his least
Yeah,
favorite.
and then
team.
Mike has his last one, and then we got the gold ball. So I can
Yep.
cut all that shit out, so we'll be fine.
yeah, I don't even know. Wait, do you want me to do my hated team?
Yeah. You got your last pick.
I don't really despise any much college teams, but I think just my story with, I mean, Texas Longhorns, Nebraska, we used to have pretty big rivals, and growing up, Tanner would know our friend Julian, which is a huge Texas Longhorn fan, and we'd always just get after each other. And then I just remember one game we were playing them, and they threw the ball out of bounds, and I'm pretty sure it hit zero. Clocks hit zero, but they put a second back on there, and then they kicked the field goal and beat us. It was like a
You
pretty
talking
big
about
game.
the Big 12 championship?
Yeah,
against
that one.
with
Big.
Ndamukong Suh and Colt McCoy.
Cole
Yes,
McCoy, yeah.
sir.
Cole McCoy threw it out of bounds. So that game, I mean, I was fucking livid. And
The year that Texas went on to play Alabama in the national championship.
yeah, that one. So yeah, you see, there you go. So you're good at remembering those. I just remember what happened. But that alone put the I hate the Longhorns. I can't name.
Dominican Sue, known scumbag. Got to throw that out there.
Irrelevant, but I love it.
He
Still
gives
in the
back.
league randomly.
He gave back to Nebraska, gave us a nice weight room, so he gives back.
Cool,
Not always a scumbag.
dude. So side story. You might have to cut this T, but one of my like best friends from college played for he got drafted by the Dolphins and played for the Dolphins for a couple of years. And his rookie year, how they do their rookie dinner, they only drafted like 3 defensive players, or brought in like 3 rookies that year. So instead of doing like their position groups where the rookie had to like pay for the dinner, they just did an all defense. And they like went the dinner that they went to, all of like the vet players, obviously they like had their meal and everything, but they were going to the bar and they were ordering bottles of like really expensive, like Louis the 13th, like all of that, and then just taking it out to their car and like putting it on the bill. Like they weren't drinking it at dinner. They were literally just like, give me that bottle of Louis.
They were
take
saving
out,
it for
put
to
in their
take
car.
home.
And then they were like just stuck the bill on the 3 rookies. It was like $150K for the dinner.
Jesus. Yeah, that's not
like,
cool.
And Dominican Sue, this is why I say he's a known scumbag. My buddy Chase was like, yeah, he had like 4 bottles in like the passenger seat of his car, and he just left like before the bill even got there.
Yeah, he's got enough money. He doesn't need to be doing that.
He's not
He
paying
went to
for it.
Nebraska, so it explains a lot, Mike. Scumbags. That's why he was on my most hated team.
Sorry, that was a weird side story. So we'll jump back into
Good story.
All right,
Gold ball, baby. Let's go.
I do like that story. That was actually
It's a
fantastic.
good story.
We
like
need more
stories.
of that.
We need more stories
But-
like that.
So now that we're on the last one, we gotta go reverse order, and you pick your favorite uniform. John, you are up first.
Oh, I'm gonna be last. Dang it.
Kind of right off my I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday, talking about what's our favorite color in uniform, and I
Red.
went with it, powder blue. We talked about this yesterday. Ole Miss powder blue. I think there's nothing better than, especially when it's at night, that like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock game, and you're just watching Ole Miss and those powder blues just drive the field down the ball. And I don't even like Ole Miss, but I love those unis. I think they're sick. And in baseball, I think they're cooler, but football, they're pretty sweet.
I like that you went that pick with the Old Miss, because I like that Old Miss with their powder blue ties it in with like the red letters and stuff. I like how it pops off there, because you could have just went North Carolina. You know what I mean? You could have
That's
just
where I
went
thought he was going.
powder blue North Carolina, but I like the pick with Old Miss because of the red accent. Even though you said you hate red, but it's okay.
No, I think the accent part is fine. It's just when it's their primary color, especially crimsons.
Yeah, I definitely thought you were going North Carolina for a second, but I think I agree with
Peak
Connor
uniforms.
where the red of the Ole Miss gives it a little bit of pop, kind of like the Missouri Valley Conference red, where it just has that kind of block lettering to an extent as well. Obviously, they do more of like the script kind of cursive, but the red with the blue makes it kind of accentuate a little bit. So definitely a Definitely great. I like that
I just
one.
think
Joe.
a defense coming out in that kind of in those colors, like these dudes are gonna hit. These dudes want to fly around the field. They're gonna be snagging balls. They're gonna be knocking heads. Like it's grind football. And
Well, either that or we're gonna be extremely unathletic.
or let up 60
and
points
gonna
because
get
we're trying to
destroyed.
be too cool.
All right.
Okay,
Well, let's
Connor's
see.
up.
All right, Connor, what do you got, big man?
I'm between a couple, and you guys know how I feel
We know how you feel about Oregon.
about Oregon.
But you got it.
But I think just to stay on topic with really, a theme of what we've been seeing in this draft, I think I'm going to have to go with the classic Texas Longhorns, the burnt orange. Like, it
The
just
burnt
looks good, dude.
orange. You're going
It
with the
just
burnt
looks good.
orange. Orange tops, white bottoms.
Well, no, I'm just
Disgusting.
I got to pick one specific uniform. I thought I was picking team uniform.
Oh, you could pick the. I mean, it doesn't matter. You get both.
Oh, I'm just taking the Longhorns for the implementation of that burnt
Yeah,
orange.
okay.
My sister lives in Austin, and I go down there from time to time. And the last time I was there, I just went into like the Nike outlet store, and like their Nike outlet store is just like all of their items in that burnt orange. It's not branded like Longhorns, but that burnt orange is like, it's just great, dude. It's such a good color. I was like, I want to buy all of this.
No hate here. I love the pick. Tanner knows that. I love it. My favorite uniform is actually the all white with the orange,
The orange accents
on that.
Yeah.
I don't
that
think
was my first pick, so that's why I was
Yeah.
asking, because I was like, which one is it? Because that was my first.
You have the helmet right there, the mini helmet right behind you, the white helmet with the orange Longhorn logo on it. That's the best helmet.
The cleanest uniform in all the sports, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe
It is a good uniform, even though I hate the team. Good uniform.
Oh,
Tanner, I know who Tanner's picking.
I don't think you know who I'm picking.
Oh, I do.
Well, you're up, so let's hear it.
Tanner's up. Let's hear it.
I am going to go with the University. Oh, actually, no, I'm gonna change it. Uniform wise, give me the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, Colt Brennan style.
That's not what I was going to guess. I was thinking he's going to take his gold Notre Dame.
Yeah.
No.
Something like that. Shout out, Colt Brennan was one of my honorable mentions for my top players.
The stripe on the helmet.
Are you talking the new ones where it has the rainbow? Like, are we talking those green?
No, we're talking the old school with the stripe, the cool shoulders.
I'm blanking right now. The only one that I can think of is they've got like the black with the green accent, right?
Yeah.
I can.
They're Under Armour. They're Under Armour unis.
Yeah.
I'm talking about their old school Nike unis.
All right, I'm gonna look it up here real quick.
Look it up. I'm gonna be basic and go while you guys are looking it up. But I don't think this would be the jersey picking college talk if we didn't pick.
I had to go different. I couldn't give you guys like the other one. I mean, I could have gone LSU again, but I couldn't do that with the all whites.
It's the thigh. It's the thigh. It's that thigh like little strap they have around their pants that I think is cool on those uniforms. Or maybe that was just Colt Brennan style.
Colt Brennan.
Yeah, I'm on Google Images, and the only ones I'm seeing are the ones that I already knew about. The black with the green.
Yeah. Are they wearing whack jerseys?
Yeah, like even this, I searched specifically like Nike, and it's this one. Black with the green.
Ooh, that's actually a different one than I got.
Which one did you get?
This is the one that's pulling up. Black with the green accents.
Tanner's talking about the stripe helmet.
Okay, look up this one when they played in the Sugar Bowl.
Yes.
With the all silver, the absolutely money.
I do like that one, but this seems to be like their regular colorway though. That's what's
that's their most recent one. But like when Colt Brennan was playing, dude, those unis were.
He brought the Oakley, by the way, the Oakley.
Oh yeah, John. Here,
like,
to your point, look at that right there. The Oakley visor.
Like everyone had that.
Connor.
After.
Yeah,
he created like the most swag of all time out of a quarterback.
Right.
Dude threw the ball around the yard with Norm Chow, who was also USC guy with Reggie Bush. Shout out to that pick. But yeah, I'm gonna go Hawaii Rainbow Warriors, baby. I think those are just they're traditional, yet they also get the stickers and everything like that. I love the little collar that they do. It's a little bit different now, but you know,
We live in Aloha Stadium, so I guess we're in the fields these days today.
that's true. It's a tough day, but that's all right. I don't know. What do y'all think? I could have went a couple different ways, but
Been out
Love
there
the pick.
for sure. But I think it's a good way to round out your draft.
not as traditional. Who's been taking notes for all this? Because I'm gonna need something to put this together.
I know what all my picks were.
Yeah,
right,
you
cool.
just have to everyone send it in.
Send me it after. Mikey, are we rounded out now or no? We have
You
the last
disabled sharing screen. I was going to share my screen with the last
I
pick,
disabled share screen.
but
I don't know if I disabled it or if I never.
Do we need to
it.
put like an NSFW like on here?
Yeah, geez, Mike, what are you trying to share?
it's just the picture of the uniform I wanted, but I can just tell it.
All right,
you
well,
it.
who do you want then? Jeez,
But-
we didn't all share our things. Like this isn't OnlyFans. Take it easy, bud.
Hey, no,
But-
I'm gonna go against Connor. We have to. I mean, like he said, when you bring up Oregon, you think colors and uniforms. So I think it would do us not justice to bring up them as one of the best uniforms. I get what he's saying that they need to be more relevant in scores and dubs and winning, but I'm gonna go their classic yellow bottoms and green tops with the reflective visor.
Are we
Okay.
talking the ones where they got the like metal like grate
The
on
sheet
the
metal.
pads? That one was actually my personal favorite. I love that one. It was
When
so
they
like,
had like LaMichael James was wearing like the little like O's like on the shoulders and on the knee pads.
I'll have to pull it up. Let me see it. Like that's why I kind of wanted to.
You know what I'm talking
Share
about,
it.
John?
Listen, I think you nailed it right there, Mike. Just with again, my qualms come more from just the emphasis that's put on the uniform. Like objectively, the uniforms are cool. Like I can't say that they're not, but just it's more about like just what kind of surrounds the like just the uniforms and like the school should be more than uniforms.
Does Oregon really have the best uniforms?
Damn, it's too reflective. Son of a bitch.
They have definitely the most.
what about TCU? No one's ever. No
I
one.
was just gonna say though, does
TCU
Oregon
is
have the
good.
best uniforms? And TCU is a good like call up, John. Speaking of the color that I'm gonna bring up, does Oregon even have the best uniforms in the Pac-12? Because I think Washington might actually be better than Oregon.
I do like Washington.
Why is it so glittery? Damn it.
Hot take for me, and I don't know how you feel about this, T, but
Or Utah.
that electric green color, like you know how Nike just took that like electric green and kind of ran with it, like so
I
much
hate neon
that,
green, but
yeah,
continue.
so much so that like kids that played in high school that had like purple and black uniforms were having like neon yellow green cleats.
Yeah.
That was one of my biggest pet peeves. Like Nike
I
just
hate I
and
hate it.
with
Like
that.
to this day, I hate the neon.
Like it's one of the worst things that happened to like youth sports was where people thought it was sick to just like wear those neon green cleats. They did not have
It was
green
cool when
uniforms.
like the combine had like the neon shirts and you had to do like in the
Well, if it
neon
matches like
cleats,
how it does with
like
Oregon.
the Nike 420s, those were cool and things like that. But
Well,
now
when
it's like
implemented into
everything is
Oregon's
neon.
uniforms, when it's implemented into Oregon's uniforms, it works. It makes sense. But my biggest pet peeve ever was like when I was playing 7-on-7 or I was playing another high school and they're like red and yellow and the kids got like those neon green cleats. I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
He's the
Like-
scrub. He's not going to play all day. He's going to be counting stats for the guys on the field. That's what he's
100%. Like I could tell just by the kid's shoes, he was gonna stink.
His dad has lots of money, was paying for all, but his dad couldn't pay for his son to get on the field.
Also, super side note, just because I want to get you guys consensus on this, but obviously T's got him hanging over his head. OG Vapor Jet's greatest cleats of all time. Like I'm pretty sure that's a consensus like pick.
Unanimous.
Oh yeah.
Unanimous.
Like
He
no
doesn't
look
question,
the greatest.
right? Like that's one of the things that like as much debating goes on within sports, like everybody just agrees that those are just the greatest cleats of all time. But for some reason, Nike's just not re-releasing that. Like, why would you not?
They have
And they never will.
They're
Just
holding.
never. They would never have to make another cleat again. Just keep releasing those.
It's literally the most comfortable, the most
Lightest.
just. I mean, comfortable
It's
is
the
the
most
biggest
aesthetically
word.
pleasing cleat that's ever been released ever.
It
You just,
works
like,
with spats
smooth
perfectly if you're that type of person and want to do that, like because the Nike symbol is at the end of the cleat, so Nike can't get sued or anything for if you're a college and
The
like
spat, yeah.
someone's spatting, because that's always a big deal. I mean, it's I don't know what I mean. You could throw those white and golds on someone on the road for CU, and they would be like, these are the freaking cleats. And I had a Nike ID those.
Oh, yeah. I spent too many hours creating customized cleats on there.
So did I. Just I got one pair of. It was my senior year of high school. I got the Nike ID like custom pair. It was the only time I ever got them, and I was like, I lived it. I'm pretty sure my parents still have them in their garage.
Hell, you can even kick in those cleats. I've kicked in them, so you can even do that.
Like, if I'm a Nike exec, I'm going into the board meeting. I'm like, I got the big idea. Here's what we do.
You're gonna re-release
those, and then there's a bunch of basketball shoes that I would re-release, like that are Jordans that were epic. I mean, but those are definitely huge. All right, I think we
nailed it.
You hit everything, didn't we?
We hit it all.
Did anybody have any? I guess we don't have to keep recording it, but did anybody have any honorable mentions for any of the
I'll keep recording, but we can keep going.
My jersey, Daddy Perp for Clemson.
I do like the purple
I
Clemsons.
like that purple orange. I like that. I do like that.
Coach, I got a good one. Steve Spurrier.
Ooh, good one. Good one.
Spurrier.